Hey everyone! Tonight we're diving into something that'll make your weekend party planning look like child's play. We're stepping into the sandals of ancient Rome's most unusual profession, the orgy planner. Yes, that was a real job. Someone actually had to organize the wine, manage the entertainment, and make sure nobody accidentally invited their mother-in-law to what was essentially a very naked networking event. Before we get started, smash that like button if you're ready to learn something your history teacher definitely skipped, and subscribe if you want more stories from the wild side of ancient civilizations. Drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is there. It's always fascinating to see our global audience unite over ancient Roman debauchery. Now, dim those lights, grab your favorite beverage, and let's travel back to a time when party planning was an art form, politics was personal, and clothing was optional. Picture this. You wake up in ancient Rome, not as a gladiator or senator, but as something far more stressful. You're the person responsible for orchestrating tonight's elite gathering, and your reputation depends on everything going perfectly. The guest list reads like a who's who of Roman high society. Senators who hate each other, politicians with fragile egos, wealthy merchants showing off their latest acquisitions, and courtesans who could make or break social standing with a single whispered comment. Your day starts before dawn, not with coffee, but with pure anxiety. Someone's already slipped a wax tablet under your door with last-minute demands. The wine must be from specific vineyards. The entertainment needs to include dancers, musicians, and performers who can balance flaming torches while reciting poetry. Oh, and the guest of honor just decided to bring 3 extra companions, completely throwing off your carefully calculated seating arrangements. This isn't just about throwing a party. In Roman society, these gatherings were intricate displays of power, wealth, and social positioning. Every detail mattered. The quality of the wine announced your patron's status. The entertainment reflected their cultural sophistication. Even the arrangement of cushions could send political messages about alliances and rivalries. Your job involves managing more moving parts than a military campaign. First, there's the venue preparation. Every surface must gleam. Marble floors need polishing until they reflect like mirrors. Oil lamps must be positioned for perfect ambiance, not too bright to be garish, not too dim to hide the expensive decorations. The air itself becomes your canvas, layered with carefully selected fragrances that whisper luxury to every guest who enters. Then comes the food, and we're not talking about ordering pizza. You're coordinating deliveries of oysters from distant coasts, exotic meats that cost more than most Romans earn in a year, and delicacies that require specialized preparation. Peacock must be roasted whole, then reassembled with its feathers for dramatic presentation. Dormice need honey glazing and poppy seed coating. Every dish serves dual purposes, nourishment and spectacle. The entertainment booking alone could drive anyone to drink the ceremonial wine early. Musicians who have been trained since childhood, dancers whose performances blur the lines between art and seduction, and poets who can improvise verses praising specific guests without causing offense to others. You're essentially casting a live theater production where the audience becomes part of the show. But perhaps the most delicate aspect is managing the human dynamics. Roman society operated on complex webs of obligation, rivalry, and alliance. Seating arrangements weren't just about comfort. They were diplomatic negotiations. Place the wrong people together, and you might witness anything from heated political debates to actual violence. Position someone in a spot they consider beneath their status, and you've created an enemy for life. The pressure is mounting. Guests will arrive soon, and everything must be flawless because in Rome, your next job depends entirely on tonight's success. As the sun climbs higher, the real chaos begins. Your first crisis arrives in the form of a breathless slave announcing that the musicians haven't shown up. Of course they haven't. You specifically hired a flute ensemble, 2 lyre players, and a performer who specializes in something called interpretive grape dancing. Now you're staring down the possibility of hosting a silent gathering, which in Roman terms is basically social suicide. You dispatch runners to every tavern and theater in the city, offering double pay for any available entertainers. Within an hour, you've cobbled together a replacement crew that includes a one-eyed harpist, twins who juggle burning objects, and a woman who claims she can make music using only wine cups and her fingernails. It's not what you planned, but it'll have to work. Next comes the wine disaster. Your supplier arrives with news that makes your stomach drop. The premium vintage you ordered has been delayed, possibly hijacked by bandits, definitely not arriving before tonight. You're left with a choice between serving local wine that tastes like vinegar mixed with regret, or emptying your emergency fund to buy whatever decent bottles remain in the city. You choose bankruptcy over humiliation and send every available person to scour Rome's wine shops. They return with an eclectic collection that would make a sommelier weep, but at least your guests won't be drinking liquid disappointment. The afternoon brings clothing malfunctions, quite literally. One of your dancing performers tears her costume during rehearsal, and the seamstress you hired to handle such emergencies has apparently vanished into thin air. You find yourself personally stitching silk while mentally calculating how many more disasters you can absorb before everything falls apart completely. Meanwhile, the kitchen has descended into controlled pandemonium. Your head cook is screaming about insufficient olive oil while simultaneously trying to prevent an assistant from dropping the ceremonial pig that's meant to be stuffed with live birds. Yes, live birds. Because apparently regular food isn't dramatic enough for Roman society. The flowers you ordered arrive wilted. The incense smells more like burning hair than exotic spices, and someone just informed you that 2 of your most important guests have developed a bitter feud since yesterday's gladiator games. They're both still coming. They both expect places of honor, and they both have the political influence to destroy your career if they feel slighted. You're juggling flaming torches while walking a tightrope over a pit of hungry lions, metaphorically speaking. Every solution creates 2 new problems. Every fix threatens to unravel something else you've carefully arranged. But here's the thing about being a Roman orgy planner. You don't panic. You adapt, you improvise, you turn disasters into opportunities and somehow make chaos look intentional. Because in just a few hours, when those first guests arrive expecting perfection, all of today's crises will be forgotten if the wine flows smoothly, the entertainment dazzles, and everyone leaves feeling like they've experienced something extraordinary. The sun is setting, your tunic is soaked with sweat, and you're running on nothing but determination and watered wine. But you're still standing, still planning, still believing that somehow tonight will be remembered as a triumph rather than a catastrophe. Time to light the lamps and pray to Bacchus for a miracle, and there you have it, the absolutely wild reality of what it took to plan a Roman orgy. These weren't just parties. They were political theater, social warfare, and logistical nightmares all wrapped up in silk and perfumed with expensive oils. From dawn to dusk crisis management to navigating the treacherous waters of Roman high society, orgy planners were part diplomat, part theater director, and part miracle worker. Think about it the next time you're stressed about planning a birthday party or organizing a work event. At least you don't have to worry about live birds bursting out of roasted pigs, feuding senators starting actual fights over couch placement, or finding replacement entertainment when your interpretive grape dancers don't show up. These masters of controlled chaos remind us that throughout history, humans have always found ways to turn socializing into an art form, no matter how complicated or ridiculous it gets. They were the unsung heroes of Roman society, turning potential disasters into legendary nights that people talked about for years. If you enjoyed diving into this bizarre corner of ancient history, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more stories from the weird and wonderful world of the past. And let me know in the comments what other unusual historical professions you'd like to explore. Trust me, human history is full of jobs that would make your current career look absolutely normal by comparison. Until next time, keep your parties simple and your guest list drama-free.